are we outside? We were waiting for the paper boy. Here's the cover of the New York Post. The First Lady, which is clever because she was the First Lady and now she's the First Lady. She made history yesterday as the first female nominee of a major party.
And that's why we're bringing in Herman Cain today to talk about this crazy election. What a year it has been. Hillary Clinton, she buries Bernie yesterday, and now she's asking for his supporters to come over on her side. What do you make of that?
And so is Donald Trump.
Well, she'll probably get about half of the Bernie supporters, and I believe Trump will get the other half, and here's why. Half of the Bernie supporters, they were excited about free stuff. The other half, they were just, they're looking for something more than that. Those are the ones that Donald Trump will be able to attract. And the other thing is, yes, she wants to make a big deal about how historic this is. The American people, most of them, care more about prosperity than history.
And the weird thing is, she does struggle right now with women. Where she is strong is in the minority community. She got 77% of the African-American vote in the Democratic election. But when it comes to Donald Trump converting Sanders supporters, it was pretty clear, Herman. He says, we agree when it comes to trade deals and jobs. So yes, there he could probably get the most attraction there.
That's why I say he'll get about half of them. That's just an estimate. Plus, if you take half of the Bernie supporters that are all over the country and you get 70% of the independents plus the Republican base, guess what? Donald Trump wins. I think that's what it's going to come down to as we go into November.
Okay, well, last night when he was up at his golf course north of New York City, Herman, I'm sure you were watching Donald Trump shortly after 9 p.m. Eastern time. We heard him give a speech, essentially a victory lap, as we conclude the primary season. And it seemed like he had a new tone. He certainly was reading off of a teleprompter. What did you think about that speech last night?
I thought the speech was absolutely right on and spot on, and it set exactly the tone that he needs to set. Now, a lot of people are going to make a big deal out of the fact that he used a teleprompter so he could stay on message, and he did a good job. He wouldn't have read the information on the teleprompter if he didn't agree with it. Obviously, he did. Now, they're going to make it, when I said they, not y'all, other people are going to make a big deal out of the fact that he was using a teleprompter. We have a teleprompter president we've had for the last 7 years.
Right.
So Donald Trump finally uses one to make sure that he is clear, concise, and pivoting to what's important, and I think that's why that was such a great speech.
Now, Mr. Cain, remember in 2013, the IRS, they targeted Tea Party groups, they went after the Tea Party groups. Well, a list has been now released. There are 426 organizations that they went after. 40 of those names are not being released to us because they're not part of this new class action lawsuit. But 60 different organizations with the word T in its name, 33 with the word Patriot. The list goes on and on. What do you think about that?
The good news is they have finally come clean, and that doesn't help the confidence of the American people that the IRS is trying to be objective. They are not. They are definitely biased, and they are used as a political toy. The bad news is it took a court order in order for them to come clean by identifying all of those organizations that they're going after. So there's good news and bad news. But I don't think this is the end of this story, because I believe that the organizations that are filing the class action lawsuit against them, that is going to continue to go forward, and the American people are going to learn more and more about why we must replace the tax code and replace the IRS.
Well, it certainly would be easier if you did it all on a postcard and it was a flat tax or a fair tax or whatever. Yes. But Mr. Cain, if Hillary Clinton were elected president, because she essentially is saying, I would be an extension of Barack Obama, would we see this kind of targeting of conservatives in the future? It
would continue. Here's one thing that's very clear now that we are at this point. Hillary Clinton will be a continuation of the Barack Obama administration. And a lot of people are waking up to that fact. They don't want Obamacare. They don't want Hillary. They don't want the continued use of the IRS and the tax code to try and intimidate people. The clarity between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton is very clear, and that's why I believe that enough people are going to wake up and realize that Hillary Clinton is just another extension of the Obama administration.
And in many ways, the damage is already done. After the 2010 election, they wanted to neutralize the Tea Party in 2012, and they effectively did this by not greenlighting a lot of those organizations. But let's move forward and talk about something that just came out recently, but it is a part of a trend. In Yale, there's a petition out there to change the way the English department assigns, I guess, their homework and actually formats their curriculum by having less white people, authors and poets, to study. Here's the quote from the petition. It is unacceptable that a Yale student considering studying English literature might read only white male authors. It's time for the English majors to decolonize, not diversify its course offerings. What's your reaction to that?
Boiled feathers, and you can fill in the blank for feathers. Look, you go to college to take the curriculum, not rewrite the curriculum. I don't believe for a moment that they are only studying white poets. That's crazy. But it is a trend on some campuses that some students think that they have more say in helping to write the curriculum than taking the curriculum. If I were one of those parents and my child or grandchild had their name on that petition, they would be coming home and I would be asking for a refund from the university.
No kidding. That's why I didn't go to Yale.
Home. All right,
that's right.
Herman Cain joining us today from Stockbridge, Georgia. Herman, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.